All right, let us continue where we were yesterday. Please excuse the delay. We're learning a speech that was given by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And this is what we've been learning the first few days of this week. And it talks about the connection between the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rebbe Yosef Yitzchak, who the day of his passing away will be celebrated next week on Wednesday. and the future redemption and the going out of Egypt. It's one unit. The going out of Egypt was a foretaste of what's going to be when Moshiach takes everybody out of the exile that we're in now. So that's how those are connected. How is the previous Rebbe connected? Because the Baal Shem Tov 300 years ago began the Hasidic movement as a result of his conversation with the Moshiach. It says that his soul went up to the chamber of the Moshiach. It was on a Rosh Hashanah. Soul went up and he said to the Moshiach, when are you going to come? This is the same question that was asked by Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi 500 years earlier. When are you going to come? And to the Baal Shem Tov, the Moshiach said, when your deep teachings are spread out all over the world. So his deep teachings, that's the teachings of Chassidut. That's what we're learning in the morning. How God is creating everything, how everything is important to God, how God reacts to what we do. How everyone is infinitely close to God and infinitely distant from God. And if you do sins, you can fix yourself up by doing what God wants, which is then close to everyone, the ability of everyone. There we go. All these Hasidic ideas that we had, and the idea of how Mashiach is close to us and it's all in our hands. So the Baal Shem Tov began this, and he went around to all sorts of faraway places, but he didn't give over the ideas in their deepest form. He gave it over only in form of stories and parables and sayings and things which could be easily change people's perimeters in life, their whole outlook on life, but in a general way. And so it was the first Rebbe of Chabad. He taught Chassidut Chabad like we learn in the morning, but they're fairly deep ideas. It's not really for everybody. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he went and spread the deepest ideas, but to the people that weren't even religious, had no connection whatsoever, the furthest away places. So that's why he is hinted at the word Beresh Gilei. It says in the Aramaic translation of what the Jews said when they crossed the Yam Suf. That was the final step in leaving Egypt, crossing the Red Sea, they call. The Jewish people went out, Beresh Gilei. It says with a upraised hand. It's a translation of with an upraised head. Resh means a head. So Beresh also is Rabbi Yosef ben Shalomber, or Rabbi Yosef ben Sternasora. That was the name of his mother and his father. So it also fits in. Okay. So this is where we got up to a little bit yesterday. Let's go a little further. Here we go. 1 second. 1 minute. Thus says this means as the shtel in Hafat says that the way that he spread out the ideas of Chassidut in Azov and in such a way was fadert zich als hachana karova the smucha mamesh to be a Mashiach. In other words, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, he spread out Judaism in a way that really prepared the world for the immediate arrival of Mashiach. Not just something that was going to happen in a distant way, because what's the main thing of Mashiach is that everyone is going to be interested in God. Everyone's going to be interested in the Creator. Everyone will be excited about doing what the Creator wants and feeling what the Creator wants. Everyone in the world. But first of all, we have to have a little bit of a concept of what the Creator is, and to be ourselves a little bit excited about the Creator. So, and this is what the previous Rebbe did. He spread it out to the furthest corners of the world to Jews that had no connection with Torah mitzvahs. They felt that God is infinitely close to them, because God is infinitely close to everybody. He creates everybody. So, but to feel that is unusual. Okay, here we are. 1 minute. Oh, did it work? No. 1 minute. Trying to get to the next page. It's not working. Oh, there it goes. My computer. Oh, there it is. It has to be oiled or something. It's too slow. And was Moshiach, which Moshiach, the Tachkum will come in a revealed way. And it's all Yidden, and it'll be revealed to all of the Jews. Was the Rebbe, which therefore the preparation for this is the Hafatza spreading out the ideas of Chassidut, signs it's all the Yidden has to be to all of the Jews in all effen and offen, in the most open way. The shtel in such a manner hat genumen der Rebbe. This attitude. That's what the previous Rebbe took. First in the history of world, that spread out the ideas of Chassidut to all of the Jews, all the different types of Jews. First of all, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he was the only one that really got out of Russia in a permanent way. The others made like little visits, but he was out of Russia in a permanent way. The last 20 years of his life was not in Russia, and the last 10 years of his life was not even in Europe, it was in America. So he was really spreading Judaism out to the furthest places. The Rebbe is given there. The previous Rebbe was the one, was had genumen dem Even Tov. He took the prize jewel, the diamond, Beketer HaMelech, in the crown of the king, was his them hanging up the ganze chashivus, which was the whole value of the crown, or commercially yadua, like the known example that we gave. I told you this example, right? I gave you the example. I can give it again because it's really nice. The example. The example is very simply, it's a story. Once upon a time, there was a king. I'll say it in a short way because I said it before. Once upon a time, there was a king. The first Rebbe of Chabad, he made up the story to indicate why it's necessary to spread out the ideas of Chassidut. Although he didn't spread it out to the degree that the first, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe did, the Rebbe Yosef Yitzchak, but nevertheless he started spreading it out. That was the idea of the Torah Or and LIkuti Torah. And there were a lot of people that were opposed to this, of spreading Judaism, the ideas of Chassidut out. So he said, why? Because the ideas of Chassidut had these deep secrets in it. They had these Kabbalistic ideas, and some people felt it wasn't for everybody. So he said, I want to give you an example. Once upon a time, there was a king, and this king had a son that was very precious to him, and the son got very sick. And all the doctors and couldn't help him, and all the king's horses and men and everything, and the professors, they couldn't help. And one wise man came along and said, listen, Your Majesty, there's a cure, but I don't know if you want to do it. It's pretty late already. I don't know if it'll work. What's the cure? I'll do anything, says the king. King says, well, you have to take a pure diamond that weighs like 2 pounds. And it has to be, cut exactly perfect. And then you have to crush this thing up, which is not going to be easy. First of all, to find such a diamond, and then to part with such a diamond, and then to crush it up. And that's only the beginning of your problems. Then you have to put it into water, mix it up properly. And then you have to try to get it into your son's mouth. But his mouth was like closed already. It was already shut, You have to try to get it into his mouth. And even if it does get into his mouth, well, that's going to be a doubt. So, it goes into his throat. Into his mouth. I'm sorry, it goes into his mouth, past his lips. And now he has to swallow it. So it's a big doubt if he's going to be able to swallow it. And if he swallows it, it's a big doubt if it's going to stay down. But if it does go past his lips and it does go down his throat and he doesn't spit it out, it'll cure him. But the chances are like, pretty far away that it'll happen. But if it does happen, for sure it's going to work. So he said, but where are you going to get such a diamond? He said, well, that happens to me in my crown. My crown has a 2-pound diamond, pure diamond. And all the king's advisors and saying, oh, God, Majesty, don't do it, man. You're going to lose your son and the crown. You're going to lose the whole thing. They said, listen, you don't tell me what to do. I'm the king. Take it. He said, I can crush it up. I know what the wise man said. I know how to crush it up. And he does it, he puts it in the water, and he gives it to the son. And sure enough, 95% of it spills out. And a little bit that goes into his mouth, 95% of that he spits out. So it ends up he has like, what is a tenth, whatever, of a tenth of a percent, 100th of a percent, whatever, but a little bit goes into his, and he swallows it. Says the Rebbe, the crown is the secrets of the Torah. The diamond is the secrets of the Torah. And the crown is the Torah, and the diamond is the secrets of the Torah, and the king is God, and the king's son who's really sick is the Jewish people. And now we have to take these secrets of the Torah and grind them up and put them into water. That's chassidut. It's a big doubt if it's going to go in, but if it does go in, he swallows it, it's going to cure him. And that's why you see sometimes these ideas of chassidut could be laying in the gutter or whatever, because it's not a sign that we don't care about it. We do care about the Torah, we care about the secrets, but we care about the Jewish people more. And we have to do everything we can to save them. And this is the only way to do it. If there was another way, we would do it. But if there any other way, there's no other way. This is it. So that's the example of taking the crown and spilling it out, right? Crushing it up and spilling it out. Un arop getrogen biz in English. And so we took the crown of the diamond and the crown, the secrets of the Torah, and he brought it down even to translate it, take it out of Hebrew and translate it into English or French, etc. Is doch verständig, so it's understood as the Rebbe is given there. The Rebbe, he was the one which had gemacht the letzte, mamish the letzte, the last preparations to the future redemption. You wake up the Jewish people, that's the redemption. So the Rebbe, he's the one that crushed it up, put it in the water, and he's pouring it out into the Jewish people's mouths, all the Jewish people, and it will go in. There'll be a geula amiti. The Jewish people will wake up. Vazeh is, which the previous Rebbe, he is doch vi der Rambam, like the Rambam, and to be the Moshiach, which the Moshiach and the future redemption is like the Rambam, Maimonides, he says, up clear, very clearly, vi zivet zich anheim, and how it's going to begin, and ganzen Seder, the whole order of what's going to be the future redemption, how it's going to go, how is it going to go. The Rambam says, this is a quote now from the Rambam. The Anai Veta in the beginning will be, as Vet Abstanda will stand up a melech, a king, from Beis David, from the house of King David. That's like the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was from King David. It doesn't have to be a king that sits on a throne with a crown on his head. For instance, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, he said that he was the Mashiach. Every generation has to be Mashiach. It said in the Talmud, it says that Rebbe Yehuda Nasi, he could have been the Mashiach. Daniel says he could have been the Mashiach. He wasn't a king, but he was from Beis David. Thus, there has to be a person, a king, a ruler of the Jewish people from the house of King David, and he learns Torah and is working in the commandments, just like David, just like King David. His father, his relative. Loit the Torah according to the written Torah and according to the oral Torah, according to the Talmud and all the rabbis. On Ervet Zwingen, all and will convince all of the Jews to gain in ear, to walk in the path of Torah and the commandments, vet funder Torah, in the weg, in the way from the Torah, in the path of the Torah. Und zu mechazik sein ihre spalten. Okay, it will strengthen their the how do you say the identity of the Jewish people. Und vet milchama haben, and he'll have war To milchamas Hashem, he'll fight the battles of God, right, against anyone who tries to weaken Judaism, any forces that try to discourage the belief in Mashiach, the belief in God, the belief in Torah, the belief in the commandments. He'll make a war against them, not a physical war with a gun, with a knife or a sword or something like that, because it won't help either. It won't help. And the idea is to battle against everything. For instance, you can see the example from the Rebbe, how he battled against the crooked conversion laws in Israel. Who was a Jew? In Israel, they accept a person if his father was Jewish, his grandfather was Jewish, they officially declare him to be a Jew. Luckily the rabbis stand up against it, and they won't marry people like that. But officially, the guy is a Jew, and that's an enemy of God. They're standing against God, standing against the Torah. Umatzliach, then he will succeed in born the Moshiach, and he will succeed. We can suppose is the Moshiach if he tries to do these things. And then he's going to succeed, and he'll build the third temple on the place where it is, and he'll gather Tzunoif Zalmanlin. He will gather the Farvargelte, they'll gather together all the spread out Jews, and the Mashiach, he will fix the whole entire world, so dinin der Eibishter, to serve God alone. That's what the Maimonides says. All the religions, they'll all drop their religion. There won't be any more religions in the world. Name all the religions in the world, look it up in Google, religions of the world. There won't be any more. It'll be history. All of the religions in the world are only selfish. You're thinking about yourself. People will think only about the Creator. People will be so appreciative that they're alive. And the whole world will worship only God alone. That's the goal of the Mashiach. And the Navi is often like the prophet says, as their itztiker, Gaola, the present redemption, Vetzain will be, this is what Micha says, the prophet, just like the Jews when they went out of Egypt, all of the details that were there, but infinitely more, they never expected they were going to go out, and they needed Moshe, and they considered themselves to be slaves. Just like that, there's going to be big miracles when they go out of Egypt. When they went out of Egypt, it'll be even bigger miracles now. In an orphan and away from Erenoni flowed, God said, I will show you what real miracles are. A geula biyad Ramah, a redemption with a high hand, like he said, Bereish Galei, when Bereish Galei, like it says in a upraised head, upraised arm, and Bereish is the letters of Yosef Yitzchak ben Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak ben Shalomber. That's the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. That was his name. Durach Mashiach Tzikenu, by means of Mashiach Tzikenu, the core of Mama shall have all the qualifications of Mashiach, and it'll happen right now. 1 second. Just like all of a sudden they came on everybody with the corona. Who would dream there would be such a ridiculous thing, and that everybody's locking down your business from nowhere? Who would dream there would be such a ridiculous lie spread across the whole world? And now all of a sudden there will be an amazing truth spread, not a bad false surprise, but a good true surprise. Mashiach will make the world happy. Everyone will be able to go out, not locked in. Everyone will be able to smile, not with masks over their faces. The world will be a fresh, new, surprising world. But we have to prepare for it. And that's by means of learning the deep ideas of Hasidut, which was actually and factually and really what the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe devoted his life to doing and what he succeeded in doing. Okay, my friends, tomorrow, God willing, we'll meet again and we will learn another Sichot of the Rebbe in LIkuti Sichos Aleph. Have a good day with Moshiach now, and hope to see you all. Shalom Uvracha.